I'm just saying, as a guy, why would I put myself in that situation when I don't know the outcome of it? It's like, okay,
Because you guys do that all the time. What do you mean?
So do you?
what do you mean?
You guys put yourself in situations that you don't know what the outcome of it. This is a masculine trait.
When it comes to dating, right, with you, let's say I want to be with you long term, and then I open up to you, you say, oh, that's kind of cringe, it's kind of weird, but I don't know when's the right time. Why even risk it?
Well, you'll never know if you never risk it.
And guess what happens to it? If I never do it, I'm still good.
Yes, you're still good, but then you'll never have the opportunity of experiencing true love and deep bond and something that is meaningful. You have to take the chance of getting hurt and open up.
Getting hurt?
So getting hurt and true lover are synonymous.
No, but that's what he showed. Like he presented to as like, oh, if I'm not gonna open up, then I'll protect myself. Then I'm not gonna like. It's just, I'm not gonna be giving up too much of myself, and I'm not gonna be sharing. So it means that like I can walk away and And
so you're saying basically, in a nutshell, being vulnerable opens you up to emotions and a deeper connection with an individual.
Yeah, getting to know them better.
Would it be fair to say that that's how women build an emotional connection versus men? It might be a little bit different.
Ooh.
We might not necessarily need the same level of emotional connection through vulnerability that women do.
100%.
Absolutely, we're built different.
I'll stop right there. We're built different. You said that from the female perspective. What if I told you from the male perspective, it doesn't operate that way? Because you're speaking from a limited perspective as a woman, not from a man. You're saying what you would like to be able to do, etc. And you're hoping that it's a mirror image on the male side.
Scientifically, we're different.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter the perspective. It's just proven. Like
no, it absolutely matters the perspective because you're giving a female perspective on how vulnerability enhances emotions and a deeper connection. But what I'm saying, for a man, it might not necessarily be that way.
So you
for a woman, it is, but not for a man.
So you're telling me a man doesn't want to be heard? A man doesn't want to feel like someone cares about him? A man doesn't want to put his head on someone's shoulder when he's going through hard times?
I think what you're saying is being able to put a head on a shoulder and be vulnerable, etc. Though a woman is capable of providing that comfort, I think a safer way to go about getting that comfort and being vulnerable is through another man who experiences the same issues and problems and dilemmas that you do from the male experience. Because you just admitted by yourself that men and women are different and we experience different problems based on our gender. So wouldn't it be kind of foolish for me to go ahead and provide my masculine problems to an individual who's not qualified to handle my masculine problems? And as a matter of fact, that individual is relying on me to be a leader, to be dominant, to take her through life. And then I'm going ahead and showing vulnerability and I'm not really sure where we stand right now. I would argue it's better for the guy to go to a man that understands his perspective versus a woman who doesn't understand that perspective. What you just described of being vulnerable and being able to connect on a deep and emotional level, that's a female way of falling in love. Men typically don't fall in love like that. Men love women for acts of service. Men love women that are submissive, that fall in line, that don't give them a headache, that give them peace. I think women want to be able to open up to their man and get that stability. But for men to open up to a woman, she's not necessarily capable of the same stability because men and women aren't the same and women aren't leaders. So I would say it's probably going to lead to self-destruction opening up to your woman because women aren't built to lead men and be stoic and emotional rocks in times of hard turmoil.
Facts. Right, but you opening up to a woman doesn't mean that like you give up, your leadership.
Yeah, but what you're doing is you're forfeiting it for a period of time. And every woman has different levels of acceptance of you terminating that leadership. So for example, some women might be able to tolerate you being a pussy and saying, I don't know where we stand right now. Oh my God. But other women might be cutthroat and be like, what the fuck? You're soft. No, I'm good. And they'll get turned off by that. So why take the risk?
Because you should know who you're with. Should it be a risk if you know who you're with?
So it's a risk.
Okay. But the thing is that you won't know unless you open up. For example, right? They've done studies on this and they've seen like women react to this. Women that are typically in relationships with guys that are fighters, right? They like the guy, they're attracted to him because he's a fighter, etc. But if they go to one of his fights and they watch him get beat up, a lot of women have lost attraction to their man by watching him get beat up. It's a visceral, carnal thing to watch your man get beat up because what he's effectively establishing right in front of you, even though he's fighting another professional fighter, is he might not be capable of protecting you, and that go ahead and trigger certain things in your mind and your monkey brain. Whoa, this guy's not a protector. Can he still provide for me? Blah, blah, blah. And women lose attraction for men. So what I'm saying is that Just in a way that women can lose attraction within an instant of watching their man get beat up, they can also lose attraction within an instant of him crying and trying to, get consolation from her. You won't know until it happens, is my argument. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Yes,
I don't think we should look at that as a weakness when a man opens up.
Okay.
As a man, you should only open up to somebody you feel comfortable with.
Mhm.
So if you don't know where you stand with your woman, obviously you should not be opening up to her.
Let's rewind real quick. What did you say a second ago? You said women should, right? Not look at it that way?
We should.
I said
We,
women,
which is-
women and men. I feel like men see opening up and being vulnerable as a weakness, but I see it as a sign of strength because I know that for men it's hard to open up.
But you used a key word
One.
earlier. You said should.
Should what?
And that's, you said we shouldn't look at it like that. And I agree. I wish it wasn't like that. But I tend to operate in reality, and should isn't necessarily a word in reality. Women typically tend to look down on men that look to them for some type that are vulnerable with them on a consistent basis.
I don't know women who look down on that. I feel like
Birch.
in my circles, though, like women see that as a sign of strength because that means you're emotionally intelligent.
I'm curious.
We're not
but the
saying-
thing,
wait,
hold
hold
on.
on.
But women want vulnerable. This is the problem that I've come to realize with women talking about this. Y'all want vulnerability on your terms. And what I'm trying to argue is that vulnerability doesn't come on terms. It's not like it's an agreement. Okay, you can be vulnerable Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, okay? For 5 minutes at a time, etc. You guys are saying it if it comes in certain terms. The problem with vulnerability and emotional volatility and hard times, etc., is it comes in spurts, and it could be, nice and sunny 1 second and then raining, pouring another second. And there's no necessarily terms. When it comes, it's raw. You don't know how you're going to react to it. It might lead to, a visceral, carnal emotion that you might not, oh my God, I'm watching my guy get beat up. What the hell's going on here? And then you lose attraction for him.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very
Very.
different. So you guys are saying, oh, it shouldn't be that way. And this doesn't make sense. You should be able to open up to your girl and be vulnerable. The problem is that when it does come, it's not going to come the way that you expect it. Like, baby, I had a tough time at work, but you know what? I fixed the problem. No, he might come home sobbing like a little bitch. He might be like coming back with a black eye. You don't know what the hell happened. It's going to come and rear its ugly head when you're least expecting it. And it could come in a dark time. Maybe I didn't make the bills for a month or two and you guys are in a bad spot. Then he comes home crying, etc. It's never going to come in an optimal situation that women typically think. It's going to come in a terrible time where isn't optimal for either one of you. Do you really want to sit there and have to console a man that's responsible for protecting and providing and leading you? That sounds like a bitch. No, see, you could say, yes, I'd be able to
It
do
doesn't sound like a bitch to me.
Okay, fantastic.
I
You might think that, but a majority of women will have a point of contention with that.
But
That's my argument.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. Has a guy ever been vulnerable with you?
Yes, I've had men cry in front of me before, and
Where are they now?
living their best life.
But you're not there.
But that didn't make me respect them less.
Stop the
In
cap.
fact,
So it made you respect them more?
Yes,
Stop the cap.
I promise.
Then why aren't you with them?
For other reasons,
Yeah.
not having
Wow.
anything to do with that.
Who broke up with who?
I mean, I always ended all of my relationships.
Wow.
But I'll tell you right now, I got cheated on. So it wasn't me who lost respect for this person and went and found a new man who is more masculine, doesn't cry. But
one
that's what
time
happened.
I was having this experience with this guy. He works in a studio and he was like, I'm celibate. I don't have sex. I just want to have sex with you. And I'm like, I don't like that. I think
What
that's
the
weird.
fuck?
Wait, but that's not all. He was like, no, I just got into a fight in the studio and I was fighting, And for me, that was a turnoff that the guy was fighting.
Hmm.
I didn't like him after that because I think that if he holds himself and he's like, he don't fights, I think fighting is bad, That's why I like the video that Myron posted. Like he didn't even touch the girl, and that was good.
Oh, on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to you, would it be fair to say that him being vulnerable might have been a symptom of a greater issue for you? Because you said you broke up with him, and that wasn't necessarily the main reason, but you said that wasn't the main reason you broke up with him. It was because of other things. But wouldn't it be fair to say that that might have been a symptom of a greater issue as to why you broke up with him in general? Because typically when men are vulnerable, right, and soft with women, they have a bunch of other issues with their masculinity that also tie into their vulnerability.
So I've had about 3 boyfriends and they all cried in front of me. So it's not a specific situation that I'm talking about. And we broke up for different reasons.
What was the reason?
They all cried in front of you?
We were close. Like when you're close with somebody, it's okay.
Wait.
It's okay.
What did they
Like
cry about?
when people go through things, it's okay to cry.
What did they cry about?
Does it matter right now?
It does matter.
Like childhood trauma, family situations, like dark family situations.
Okay.
Mhm.
What made you break up with them?
Like I said, I was multiple situations. Like we broke up for different reasons. Like I said, I got cheated on. Like
Okay, one cheated on, and then what was the other 2 that were the deal breaker?
Okay, we had like a violent situation. It was
He hit you?
no, I hit him.
Oh.
Well, we hit each other.
Because who's a bitch?
Hey, if you didn't cry,
Here we go, man.
His dog hit him, so that's why he hit me.
What the what?
His what?
It's
Okay.
just an example. Like his dog hit him.
His dog?
So, yeah, he has a trauma. Like he's gonna hit you.
Have you ever
because he got hit or something? He don't have to hit you.
All right. Well, so
Like
No, she hit
okay,
him,
yeah,
she
you
said.
hit him,
exactly.
and then he
so
hit,
that puts
did he hit you back too, or no?
No.
Okay, you hit him. Okay.
Why do
And
you
then
have
what
to
is
hit
what
him?
is what is the third reason? So one guy cheated on you, one guy you were beating him up, and then the third guy.
The third guy,
well, she's Russian, so I mean,
I honestly don't remember. It was something petty. Also, I don't remember.
I just find it
Just didn't
funny
work out. Like
that
things
they
don't.
all cried in front of you, and then eventually you broke up with them for another reason or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But you all broke up with all 3 of them,
And you hit him. God damn.
and you hit him too.
He left.
Doesn't that
Listen,
show-
things happen. I was 19.
Can I ask you a
Doesn't that
question?
show a pattern of like bad, like
Yeah, that didn't help her case.
Okay, I'm done.
wow,
Bro.
Did your dad ever cry in front of you? Did you ever see your dad
I
cry?
actually don't have a relationship with my father.
I mean,
Okay.
I've seen my dad cry, but like my grandma passed away, so it's
Emotional
like, different. Like
damage.
a death is different. Like my man, he's cried like his best friend passed away like the day of his like game. Like so that's different. Like I feel like a death like is understandable. But like my man also told me if he's ever going through shit, he would never let me know because it's his job as a man to just get through the shit. So it's like
yeah.
But don't you want to be that person?
nope, I'm
For your man.
no, I
Like,
am that
who's
person
the-
for him. If
who's
he wants to come
there?
and talk to me, he can, but if not, I'm
And-
like
That person who hits him?
I don't hit him. I would never hit a
Okay.
man.
I think this is another perfect example of like wanting to be transparent when it comes to cheating and having other women. Women want you to be transparent with your emotions, once again, for self-interest, to be able to establish if you're really that guy, if you're a tough guy, you can lead me, etc. And if you are sitting there crying, in the back of her mind, she's like, all right, I got you right now. But man, if we ever get in a fight or if I ever want to break up with you, man, you are a bitch. I can leave you.
Yeah,
Women
because you
have
definitely felt
elephant
like
memory.
you definitely felt like he was a bitch for you to hit him. Because if you didn't feel like that about him, you
Yeah.
would never lay a hand on him. I
That's
promise you.
Facts.
Yeah.
Every guy I've ever been with, there's only one guy I was ever with, and I did put my hands on him. And I was 17, but guess what? I did think he was a bitch.
Well,
I
I
did.
actually know her personally, and she's actually like, I don't think you have to be a bitch. If her
Stop
angers
the
get no cap.
You
If
don't
her
know
anger does get her, like if her emotions get the better of her, she will put her hands on you.
That's a problem.
doesn't
But,
matter.
Yeah, that's a problem with
She hit
me.
you?
It's not a
Not-
problem
no,
with the
not she is
person.
me. I'm saying,
if it was a
like,
guy that you knew for a fact would deck the shit out of you, you would not put your hands on him.
You wouldn't do it.
You would not do it. If he was 6'6",
So I'm
250, you're gonna
27.
get-
I don't do things like that anymore.
but I'm saying if he was 6'6", 250, you would never do it in the first place.
Maybe you're right.
It was the man.
Well, she's Russian, so I mean, she's
But
kinda-
I take responsibility for that. So I don't want to call this person a bitch, and that's why I hit him. But I think the problem was with me because I didn't know how to express my feelings, and
I think that's even more reason to not open up to you and be vulnerable. They might get punched.
we can conclude.
You know what I mean?
Vodka.
Like women that, and here's the thing too. You made an argument earlier. I wrote this down that women can be both masculine and feminine. When women are, selectively choosing when they want to be feminine and masculine, etc., that means as a man you have to be hyper masculine, and being vulnerable is probably one of the softest and pussiest things you can do. It's a feminine characteristic to open up to females, in my eyes. So I don't think, especially with a female like you that kind of picks and chooses when they want to be a lady or masculine, I would say it's even more dangerous for them to be vulnerable with a female like you.
I disagree.
Why do you disagree? Would your prior relationships not kind of prove my point because actions speak louder than words? That
So,
you punish every
honestly-
guy that's been vulnerable with you?
So
with a
I've learned
breakup?
a lot from my previous relationships.
Okay.
I'm not proud of the mistakes that I made in those relationships. So I wouldn't judge like what happened in those relationships and like make conclusions about what I think of things right now.
I mean, you're saying
if
it's
that
okay
makes
for men to
sense.
be vulnerable with you, but the record shows that every man that's been vulnerable with you has suffered a consequence of losing you.
Or a black eye.
Not because they were vulnerable with me, because
But
of
that's
other
what I said
things.
before. I think that was a symptom of a greater issue.
Probably.